Hi, I'm Ems, aka on Dark and Wings. In this video, I will be painting up a bust of the Emperor of Mankind. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. It all helps my channel grow and gives me the motivation to keep making these videos. So here's the bust in question. I have already primed it. This is 3D printed. The 3D print file is from a guy called Zkino. I'll put the link in the description below to his website, but there might be a chance it's not there anymore because of copyright. I've also printed this miniature in the same resin as the Emperor of Mankind one. It's a really lovely one with super details, and it's from a company called Nova 3D Prints. I'll put a link in the description below to where you can get some of this resin. And now, without further ado, I'm going to be painting up this bust. So we're starting off with Darkstyle Molten Metals Royal Gold, and I'm going to be dry brushing this over the top. And I always think metallics look best over a blacked prime model. The camera work might look different from my previous videos as I am working with a new foam. However, I will be playing around with the settings. One good thing is it does actually focus on the miniature constantly rather than going in and out of focus. So that's one good thing. This is a super nice gold to work with. I have been sent some metallics from Turbo Dark, so I will be testing those out in a future video, and one of those paints is a very bright gold. So yeah, that's going to be quite exciting. I love working with paints. So I will be working with true metallic metals for the majority of this bust, and I will be trying to create as much realism as I can, because you can still create a lot of contrast and variation with true metallic metals in the same way you would with non-metallic metal painting techniques. I also apologise for my voice. I still have a cold and it's quite nasal at the moment. So next up I have a Victorian Pala from Darkstar, and this is a wash. This is supposed to be primarily to go over golds and coppers and things like that, and it has like a reddish tint to it. I know I've talked about this ad nauseum before, but if you're painting with true metallic gold, if you use a wash of something you would use normally for like a flesh tone, so like a Raycon flesh shade or like a Gilliman contrast flesh watered down, these types of paints are great for going over golds and coppers, and it just kind of bring them to life a bit more. So just to create some deeper contrasting shadows, I've got a Wildwood contrast paint from Citadel. I'm thinning this down, and these are going into the deepest shadows just to create some more contrast and make this be a bit more visually interesting. I didn't want to just use like a non-oil type of wash, as I think that's a bit too dark, and this one has like some sort of browny kind of reddish hints to it as well. So just skipping ahead here so we don't get bored to death too much. I have got all my washes down, and then I went back over with some of that royal gold I used first of all just to neaten it up. And now I'm going to add some final highlights, so I'm going to be adding some fine gold mixed with some royal gold. I'm going to be dry brushing this on, so I've grabbed a smaller dry brush here. I'm using that Artifice set which I reviewed previously, and I'm just going over some of the highest parts. And the great thing with this bust is there is a lot of cool texture, and the armor's got quite a lot of ornaments on it, so it kind of brings it into a more of a 3D quality. So now I'm happy with the armor. I've grabbed a Corn Red from Citadel, and I'm going to be going over some of the purity seals and some of the other parts on the model. The quality I know is a little bit more fuzzy than usual. I'm still getting used to the camera on this one. So here is the red parts done. So I've put some over the purity seal wax, over the gemstones, and then those kind of flappy ornament bits at the bottom. I've also put some ivory paint from Pro Acrylic over the paper of the purity seals, and I've just got a fine pointed brush now with some black paint, and I'm just putting some sort of writing squiggles down. So once that was done, I grabbed some Wildwood contrast paint, thinned this down, and I put this over the purity seal wax and a bit over the paper of the purity seals, and the other bits and pieces I painted in red. So, for some final highlights with the red parts, I've grabbed Evil Sun's Red from Citadel, and I'm just going over the top of it, and this will create quite a high contrast because this is much brighter than the Corn Red with the wash over it. And I'm also putting a semicircle over the gemstone as I will be making it look a bit fancier. I got some Troll Slayer Orange from Citadel, and I'm creating an even smaller semicircle now on the gemstone. I then grabbed a random black paint, and I'm just adding a dot to the gemstone here. And for the last bit of the gemstone, I just grabbed some like ivory paint that was still on my palette, and I'm just adding some dots to create a sort of reflection on the gemstones. Moving on now to the face, almost done, and we're going for a Kislev Flesh from Citadel. This is quite a pale colour. After a few coats of the Kislev Flesh, I grabbed a Army Painter Speed Paint, which is Warrior Skin. These are similar to contrast paints, and I'm thinning this down to more of a wash consistency. This is going over the face, and we'll create some shadows and bring out the details and create some contrast. Once the wash had dried, I went back in with the Kislev Flesh and just neatened up the areas on the face. I also painted the eyes off camera because they are a bit of a pain in the bum to do when you're filming them on camera. And now I'm moving on to the last part, which is the hair. So I am mixing a Pro Acrylic Coal Black with a Thunderhawk Blue from Citadel here. I like to highlight black, usually with blues and like sea green types of colours. So this will create a subtle transition and highlight the black of the hair. And it also will contrast nicely with the gold as it has a yellow hue to it, and blue and yellow contrasts quite nicely. And for a final highlight on the hair, I just grabbed some pure Thunderhawk Blue and added some final bits here and there. And as you can see, this Thunderhawk Blue creates quite a big contrast, so that's why I mixed the black and the Thunderhawk Blue first of all together for the first highlight. And here is the bust finished off. This was quite fun to do and didn't take me too long. As always, thank you for watching. If you would like to support me, I do have a Patreon, or you can donate in the link in the description below. Otherwise, please do share this. Remember to enjoy your hobbies for yourself, respect the people, enjoy them in their own ways, and at the end of the day, they're just war dollies. I will see you in the next one.